They say you don't truly know a person until they sit behind you in silence, and maybe that's true. Because every mile carries its own secret, and some nights, the road remembers more than we do. Every driver has that one story, the one that lingers long after the engine's off. The kind that lives somewhere between truth and imagination, fear and faith. Some rides just cost money, they say, but a few cost something deeper. Thank you for riding with me through the first 4 parts of A Ride Through Winter. Now, welcome to part 5, The Revelation. The world outside was silent again. Snow fell in heavy flakes, thick and slow, like ashes from some unseen fire. I sat in my car, my wrists sore from where the cuffs had been. The heater was still humming, but the warmth wasn't reaching my bones. Across the road, police lights still flashed. Blue, red, blue. Their reflections dancing across the windshield like restless spirits. The man in denim was gone now. The bag was gone. Only the memory of his stare remained. Cold, sharp, and unforgettable. I kept asking myself the same question over and over. Who was he? The officer's words replayed in my head. You were lucky. If you hadn't stopped when you did. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. I knew. Deep down, I knew that bag he carried wasn't just full of clothes or cash. It carried something darker, something that could have ended me right there on that deserted highway. I leaned back, staring at the roof of the car, my heart pounding with a rhythm that felt almost sacred, the beat of someone who is still alive when they shouldn't be. Lord, I whispered, my voice trembling. You really sent angels tonight. Because there was no other explanation. How else could I have taken a man that far, through a blizzard, through hours of darkness, and still be sitting here, alive, breathing, and unharmed? A light tap on the window startled me. One of the officers was back, his face softer now. He looked tired, the kind of tired that comes from seeing too much. Sir, he said quietly, you can go now. We're sorry for what happened. I just nodded. My voice wouldn't come. As he turned to leave, I found the courage to ask, was he dangerous? He paused for just a heartbeat too long, then said, let's just say you were in the wrong car at the right time. Someone up there must like you. And then he walked away, disappearing into the swirling snow. That phrase stuck with me. Someone up there must like you. But I knew it wasn't just luck. It was grace. Pure, undeserved grace. When I finally started the car again, the tires crunched softly against the fresh snow. The road ahead shimmered faintly in the light of the cruisers. For a moment, I just sat there, unable to move, watching my breath fog up the glass. Then, slowly, I began to drive. Not fast, not far, just enough to leave that place behind. Every few kilometers, I'd glance at the back seat, empty now, yet so heavy with what had once sat there. The faint smell of weed still lingered in the air, a haunting reminder of how close I had been to something terrible. I thought about my children, about their laughter, about how I might have never seen them again. Tears blurred the road, not from fear, but from gratitude. You kept me, Lord, I whispered again, my voice cracking, even when I didn't know what I was driving into. And for the first time that night, I let myself cry. Not from panic, not from exhaustion, but from revelation. That night, I realized something simple but life-changing. Sometimes God doesn't stop the storm. He drives with you right through it. The snow kept falling, quiet and endless. But inside me, something had shifted. The fear was still there, yes, but beneath it, something stronger had taken root. I was heading home. Home. The word had never sounded so sacred. The heater hummed low, filling the silence. My body was still shaking. But my soul was slowly settling. Each passing kilometer felt like a prayer answered. 1 mile further from danger, 1 mile closer to peace. The road was nearly empty. Every now and then a truck would thunder past, spraying misty snow that flashed in the red of my taillights before fading into nothing. I thought about the man, the denim jacket, the bag, the look in his eyes. And then I thought about the officers, the flashing lights, and the voice that told me, "You can go now." It all felt like a dream I was waking up from, the kind that leaves you breathless and grateful all at once. I whispered softly, "God, if I ever doubted you, forgive me." Tears welled up again, not of fear this time, but of pure realization. How close I had come. How far he had kept me. I remembered the moment I accepted that ride, the excitement of seeing that $100 fare. The way greed had whispered louder than caution, and I realized something in that silence. The most dangerous roads in life are not always the ones covered in snow. Sometimes they're paved with temptation. The hum of the tires against the icy asphalt became a rhythm, slow and steady, like a heartbeat, like the steady pulse of mercy. Somewhere near Barrie, dawn began to peek over the edge of the earth. The sky turned pale blue, then pink, then gold. I rolled down the window just a crack. The air was still cold but cleaner now, like it had forgiven the night. As the sun broke fully, the light caught the frost on the trees, turning them into shimmering glass. For a moment, it felt like heaven itself had come down to the highway. And I laughed, quietly at first, then louder. A soft, shaky laugh that carried both relief and gratitude. I wasn't supposed to be laughing after a night like that. But that's the thing about grace. It shows up where fear once lived and fills the emptiness with peace. By the time I reached Toronto, the world had awakened. Cars moved slowly on salted roads. People waited for buses, bundled in coats. Life had gone on, completely unaware of the story that had unfolded in its shadows. I parked in my driveway and sat for a long time, just watching my breath fog the window. The house was still. My children were sleeping inside. The sight of that front door nearly broke me. "You kept me, Lord," I whispered one more time. "You brought me home." I turned off the engine and just sat there. No music, no phone, no noise. Just the gentle whisper of the morning. The light was soft and golden, wrapping the world like a promise that everything broken in the night would mend with time. Before stepping out, I glanced at my phone. A new notification blinked. New ride request, $24. I smiled faintly, shook my head, and pressed decline. Not today. Some journeys just aren't worth the fare. I stepped out of the car, my boots crunching on the icy ground, and took one long, deep breath. The cold air bit at my cheeks, but it felt good. It felt real, alive. As I walked toward my door, I looked up. The sun had risen fully now, painting the sky in strokes of light and warmth. I closed my eyes for a moment and whispered one last prayer. "Thank you, Lord, for the ride, for the lesson, for your hand on the wheel when mine almost slipped." Inside, the house smelled like home, faint traces of cocoa, laundry soap, and love. I hung up my jacket, sank into the couch, and finally let my body rest. The night was over. The storm had passed. And though my car still smelled faintly of smoke and fear, my heart smelled of peace. That morning, I slept like a child. The kind of sleep that comes not from exhaustion, but from deliverance. And as I drifted off, one final thought carried me into my dreams. Sometimes God saves us not from the ride, but through it. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If this story touched you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more. Stay safe out there.